This is Max and Mia podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Max and Mia podcast. I'm Max.
And I'm Mia. Really glad you're here with us.
We have a good episode today. A lot of practical stuff coming your way. But first, Mia, how was your weekend? Did you do anything?
It was actually really nice. I stayed in mostly, watched a bit of TV, and went for a walk on Sunday. Nothing crazy. You?
I was watching football. Well, soccer if you're in the US, as usual. And honestly, it got me thinking about the World Cup because it's getting close now.
Oh, right. Here in North America. That's kind of wild, actually.
It really is. US, Canada, and Mexico hosting it together. I don't think that's ever happened before with 3 countries.
I don't know. I think it's the first time. So, who are you rooting for?
Well, besides the US, I think I'm going to root for Japan and Brazil. How about you?
Brazil is definitely the classic answer. And honestly, I'm not a huge football fan, but I'm rooting for Mexico and South Korea.
South Korea is a great pick. But hey, we know we have listeners from all over the world tuning in right now.
That's right. So, wherever you are listening from, let us know which country you'll be cheering for. We'd love to see who our listeners are supporting.
For sure. It's going to be a great tournament. All right, let's get into today's episode because we have a good one.
So today we're going to move through a few everyday situations, regular conversations that people have all the time, and inside those conversations, we're going to look at some things that English learners often find a bit tricky.
And the idea is that you hear these things in context, in a real conversation, not just as a grammar rule on a page. That's really when it starts to click.
Exactly. So the first one we want to talk about is a small phrase that comes up constantly in English, and people sometimes aren't sure how to use it naturally. We're talking about as well.
Right. So, as well basically means the same as to or also. But the way you place it in a sentence is what trips people up sometimes. It always goes at the end. You don't put it in the middle and you don't start a sentence with it. End of the sentence, always.
So instead of saying, I as well want to go, which sounds wrong, you'd say, I want to go as well. Simple, but it makes a big difference.
And it's very common in spoken English. It doesn't sound formal. It doesn't sound too casual either. It just sounds natural.
Which is why it's so useful. Once you start noticing it, you'll hear it everywhere.
All right, so now that we've covered how it works, let's hear it in action. We have our first conversation coming up, and you're going to catch as well showing up in there more than once. So listen for it.
Oh, that smells amazing. What is that?
Lentil soup. My mom made it last night, so I brought some in. Do you want to try it?
No, I don't want to take your food, but thank you.
Are you sure? There's a lot.
Okay, maybe just a little. Thank you.
Here, careful, it's hot.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. She cooks a lot?
All the time. Every Sunday she makes something big and then I eat it for the whole week, basically. It saves me a lot of time and money as well, so I'm not complaining.
That's the dream, honestly. I have to cook everything myself, and I'm not that great at it.
You could learn. It's not that hard once you start.
I know. I keep saying I'll start watching videos and actually try, but then I get home and I'm tired and I just order something.
Yeah, that happens.
Every single day. Anyway, did you finish the Henderson report? Because Sarah was asking about it this morning and I didn't know what to tell her.
I sent it last night, actually, around 8. Did she not get it?
I have no idea. I'll check with her after lunch. She mentioned the budget summary as well, by the way. She wants that before Friday.
The budget summary. Which one? The one for Q3?
I think so, yeah, the one with the projections.
Okay, I can have that ready by Thursday. That should be fine.
I'll let her know. Sorry, I feel like I just walked in here and gave you a list of problems.
A little bit, yeah. No, it's fine. I was going to work on that this afternoon as well, so it works out.
You're very calm about all of this. I would be stressed.
I used to be, but I've learned that being stressed doesn't actually make things go faster.
That is very wise, Rama.
I have my moments. So how's your project going? The one with the new client?
Oh, it's going. Slowly, but it's going. They keep changing what they want, which makes everything take twice as long.
That's the worst kind of client.
The absolute worst. And they're really nice people, which makes it harder to say anything. If they were rude, I'd feel better about being frustrated.
That actually makes sense.
Right? Anyway, I should eat something. I haven't had anything since this morning.
There's bread over there as well if you want. Someone left it from the meeting earlier.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. And thank your mom for the soup.
I'll tell her. She'll be happy someone else appreciated it.
Honestly, she should start a business.
Okay, so Rama and Ellen, very normal lunch break conversation. Nothing complicated, just real.
And as well showed up a few times in there. Did you catch them all? The thing is, none of them felt forced. They were just there, part of the sentence.
Which is exactly the point. And this is something worth remembering. If you always use to, people will understand you, absolutely. But as well gives you another option. It keeps your English sounding more varied, more natural. You don't want to rely on one word for everything.
Right. Think of it like having two shirts that work for the same occasion. You can wear either one. Same idea.
Good analogy. All right, let's move to our next topic. And this one is interesting because it's a word that most learners know in one situation but not in others. We're talking about rather.
Now, the most common use people know is in comparisons. I'd rather stay home than go out. That one's familiar. But here's the question. Is that the only way to use it?
It is not. And that's what trips people up. Rather actually has a few different jobs in English. The first one you already know, preferences and comparisons. But it also works to mean quite or fairly, usually when you want to say something strong without sounding too direct. Like, that meeting was rather long, instead of just saying that meeting was very long. It softens it a little.
It's a bit more polite, a bit more restrained. You'll hear this one a lot in British English especially, but it comes up everywhere.
And then there's rather than, which works to contrast two options or explain why you chose one thing over another. I decided to call rather than send an email. You're not just comparing, you're explaining a decision.
And the last one is a little less common, but really useful. You can use rather to correct yourself or adjust what you just said, like, she's my coworker, or rather, my manager. It's like saying, actually, let me be more precise.
So you have 4 uses in total: preferences, softening a statement, contrasting options, and self-correcting. That's a lot of work for one small word.
It really is. And the best way to see all of this in action is, of course, in a real conversation. So let's go to our second one of the day.
I cannot believe this coffee. It tastes like warm sadness.
I told you not to get it. I told you.
I thought you were exaggerating. You weren't exaggerating.
I never exaggerate about bad coffee. It's one of my principles.
Noted. I'd rather be thirsty than drink this again, honestly.
Just throw it away.
I paid $1.50 for this. I'm finishing it.
That makes no sense.
It makes complete sense. It's the principle of the thing. So, how's the new job? You've been quiet about it.
It's okay. It's rather different from what I expected, to be honest.
Different how?
I don't know. I thought it would be more creative, more independent. But there's a lot of structure, a lot of meetings, a lot of approvals before you can do anything.
That sounds exhausting.
It's not exhausting, it's just slow. I'd rather move fast and fix mistakes than wait 2 weeks for someone to approve a decision that takes 5 minutes to make.
Yeah, that would drive me crazy. Have you said anything to your manager?
Not yet. I'm still new, so I don't want to come in with a list of complaints before I even understand how everything works.
That's fair. Give it a few months.
That's the plan. What about you? Are you still thinking about moving?
I think so. Or rather, I'm trying to decide between actually moving and just finding a new roommate, because the rent situation right now is not great.
What happened to the guy you were living with, Marcus?
He got a job offer in another city. He's leaving at the end of next month.
Oh, wow. That's soon.
Yeah, so now I either find someone new fast, or I find a cheaper place, or I figure out something else entirely. I don't know. I'd rather not make a rushed decision, but I also don't have that much time.
Do you want me to ask around? I might know someone who's looking.
Really? That would actually help a lot. It doesn't have to be a best friend situation, just someone normal who pays on time and doesn't leave dishes in the sink for 4 days.
Very specific requirements.
Lessons learned, Helen. Lessons learned.
I'll ask. I think my coworker Jamie mentioned something about looking for a place a few weeks ago.
Please do. I'd rather have someone with a recommendation than just a stranger from the internet.
Understandable. Oh, I think that's my machine.
Already?
It's been almost an hour. You weren't paying attention because you were too busy suffering through that coffee.
I was not suffering. I was enduring. There's a difference.
Is there?
A rather important one, yes.
Come on, help me with this.
Okay, I really liked that one. The laundromat at 10 at night. Very real situation.
And Ted's relationship with that coffee was very relatable.
It was. But let's talk about rather, because there were several good examples in there. The one I want to highlight is Ted at the end. A rather important one. Yes, that's the softening use. And it lands really well there because it's also a bit sarcastic. That's how native speakers use it in conversation.
Right. It's not just about being polite. Sometimes it adds a dry humor to what you're saying. And Helen's, or rather, I'm trying to decide, is a great example of self-correction. She started with one idea and then adjusted it mid-sentence. Very natural, very common.
Now, there's one mistake that comes up a lot with rather, and it's worth mentioning. When you use I'd rather, the verb that follows has to be in its base form. No to. So it's I'd rather go, not I'd rather to go. That's a very common error, especially if your first language uses a different structure there.
Yes. I'd rather to stay sounds wrong to a native speaker immediately. Just drop the to and you're fine.
It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference. All right, we have one more topic for today, and this one is a word that people often think they already know completely. And they're not wrong, exactly. They just don't know all of it.
We're talking about though. And yes, most learners know it as another way to say although. Though it was raining, we went out. That works, that's correct, but that's only one part of the picture.
Right. So today we want to focus on two uses that come up all the time in spoken English but don't always get taught explicitly. The first one is though at the end of a sentence. Not at the beginning, not in the middle, at the end. And when it sits there, it works like a soft but, or even so. It adds a contrast without starting a whole new sentence.
So instead of saying, the food was expensive, but it was worth it, you might just say, the food was expensive, worth it though. It's lighter. It's more conversational. Native speakers do this constantly.
The second use is though in the middle of a sentence to introduce a contrast or a pause, almost like a quiet however. Something like, the plan sounds good. The timing, though, is a problem. You're not stopping the thought. You're just flagging that one part deserves a second look.
And what both of these have in common is that they don't feel heavy. They don't sound like you're making a formal argument. They're just a natural way of holding two ideas at the same time.
Exactly. So let's hear them in a real conversation. Third one of the day coming up.
Finally, I was starting to think you disappeared.
I know. It's been insane. I just got back last night, actually.
How was it? The trip?
Exhausting. Good, though. Like, genuinely productive. We got a lot done.
Where were you again? Chicago?
Yeah, 3 days. The weather was terrible, by the way. Cold and raining the whole time.
Classic.
The hotel was nice, though. That helped. I'd come back to the room after a long day and just collapse. Anyway, how are you? What's been going on?
Honestly, a lot. Work has been kind of overwhelming this month.
Still the same project?
Yeah, it keeps growing. Every week there is something new added to it. I like the work, though. That's the thing. It's just a lot.
Is the team okay, at least?
More or less. There's one guy, new, started about a month ago, and he's fine. Eager, a little too eager sometimes, but fine.
That type.
You know the type. He sends emails at midnight and then wonders why no one replies until morning.
Oh, no.
He'll calm down. Probably. Anyway, what's next for you? More travel?
Not for a while, hopefully. I have a big presentation in 2 weeks, so that's going to take up most of my time between now and then.
What's it for?
The quarterly review. It's not complicated. The content, though, is a lot to organize. Like, there's too much data, and I have to figure out what actually matters.
I hate that kind of thing. When you have too much and have to cut it down.
It's the worst. Less is more, I know, but getting to less takes forever.
Have you started it?
Sort of. I have the structure. The slides, though, I haven't touched yet. I always leave those for last.
Same. The deck always feels like the least important part until suddenly it's the only part that matters.
Exactly. And then you're up at midnight making it look nice.
Every time. Okay, so after the presentation, any plans? Are you actually going to take a break?
I'm thinking about it. My sister keeps saying I should go visit her. She's been asking for months.
You should go. When did you last see her?
Like 8 months ago? Maybe more? It's been too long. It's just always something, you know?
Yeah. Those trips are always worth it, though. You always feel better after.
You're right. I'll figure it out after the presentation. One thing at a time.
Good plan. Okay, I'll let you go. You just got back. You probably need to actually rest.
I do. This was good, though. I needed to just talk to someone normal for 5 minutes.
Happy to be your normal person.
Talk soon.
Take care.
Okay, Nina and Leo on the phone. Simple, clean, just two people catching up.
No distractions, nothing extra going on. And though showed up naturally all the way through, which is what you want. You're not supposed to notice it. And that's kind of the point.
Let's pick out a few. Early on, Nina says, exhausting. Good though. Short, punchy. She's not saying, but it was good as a separate sentence. She's just adding that contrast in one breath. That's the end of sentence use. And it's probably the most common one in casual conversation.
And then there's The content, though, is a lot to organize. That's the mid-sentence use. Nina is talking about her presentation, and she wants to flag that specific thing, the content, as the part that's giving her trouble, though in the middle creates that little spotlight on it without breaking the flow.
Right. It's not a dramatic shift, it's just a nudge. And that's what makes both of these uses so useful. They're light. They don't interrupt anything. They just add a layer.
One thing worth noticing, in the end of sentence use, though, almost always comes after something positive following something negative, or the other way around. There's always a contrast underneath it. Exhausting. Good, though. Two opposite ideas, held together by one word.
Exactly. And once you start using it that way, it makes your English sound a lot more natural and a lot less textbook. All right, that wraps up all three topics for today. As well, rather, and though. 3 small words, a lot of mileage.
If you want to practice, try paying attention to these in whatever English content you're already watching or listening to. You'll start catching them everywhere, and that's when it really starts to stick.
And if you want to go back and listen to any of the conversations again, do that. Repetition is your friend. You don't have to get everything on the first listen.
Before we go, we just want to say thank you for making it to this point in the episode. Genuinely. There's a lot of content out there, and the fact that you're spending your time here with us means a lot.
If you enjoyed today's episode and you want to help us keep making this kind of content, the best thing you can do is leave us a like. It really does make a difference for us.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a good time. New episodes come out regularly, and we don't want you to miss them.
Also, if you have a friend who's learning English right now, share this with them. Honestly, listening together and talking about it afterward is one of the best ways to practice.
All right, that's it from us today. Take care, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you then. To keep taking your English to the next level, click on the next video or explore the others we've made for you.